Need some more lumber, so got to do a quick trip to the hardware store. Check down this aisle here. Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for. All right, there we go. Top of the tree should be probably hit about 20 feet forward. So we'll come forward a little bit. I think this is good. It'll just get brushed by the top if it hits it. We'll see. Hopefully it lands in the right spot. Hit about 6 feet. I had to remake my template for doing the rafters over this dormered up section, and here it is. I started out using my old one, basing off a new one, and then the new one had to be adjusted, so I made this one first. Got up on the ridge beam, screwed it in place, played with it a little bit, trimmed it, and then came up with this template here. I think this one's accurate. I'm going to get this one screwed back up into place and then put the template on the opposite side and see if they come together in the correct spot. This wraps up this portion of the video. pretty much have it framed up to move on to the next step. What I'll be starting next is getting the roofing down on these rafter tails right here, working my way around up this to where I can do the poplar bark siding on these walls, 4 of them, on the gables at each end. And then from there, I'll be able to deck the main roof and get the metal down all over. I'll do the siding probably later on. I just want to get this thing under roof, and then I'll make decisions on all that as we go. And what I said I have to do, I just have to do it in that order to be able to work up into those places before I put that last, sorry, you can't see it in here, that last high rafter tail of this angle that sticks out over and lands on that 4x4 that I just showed. So a lot of work done here. A lot of stuff happened off camera. I went in and filled in every other stud that I had left out. Whatever I didn't show as far as those rafter tails goes. I have some weather going on and just a busy schedule lately, so I just haven't been able to film stuff. Doesn't seem like a big deal to film. You know, just hit start on the camera here and there once in a while, but it is a big deal. You know, and fill your phone up, and then you got to go inside and get it off the phone onto a computer. It's just a lot of little small things, so I just had to roll on. So got this wall framed up here. You probably noticed it in an earlier part of the video, but got that framed in. So that'll be the main door coming in, the only door. Right here, framed this wall out of 2x6s to kind of account for the 6x8s coming up into the wall, just to where it be flush on the outside and the inside. And there's going to be a window right here that mirrors those windows. So basically a 3-foot window, the same height, and then a 3-foot door behind me. So it'll be, you can just see straight through all of it. With that said, I don't know what these windows are actually going to be like. I'm, been thinking arch top windows, and at the top of the arch would be stained glass and then clear glass below to where you can see through, lets light in, be kind of a nice glow from inside the building. There's a sawmill. So the building itself right now, from the far end of that building to here, is like 60, I think it's almost 70 feet. And then when you include the lean-tos that will be coming off of either end, we're right around 100. So it's getting very long. And then the building itself is 14 feet wide. And then when you factor in the 12-foot overhangs, the lean-tos that'll be coming off, the roof line will actually be 14. So we got 14 times 3, whatever that is, 28 plus 14. It's at 40 something, 42 feet. I don't know. But yeah, very pleased with the way it's going. It's got a good look. I've been able to frame this up and work on this at a faster pace than I've done a lot of the other building, parts of the building. So pleased about that. Still very, very slow. It'll do something like take me just all day long just to get just this little section of overhang on. Partly it's just the materials I'm using. I'm being super picky. Like these boards here had aged a lot, and from underneath when I look up, I want them to look nice. So what I did is I took all the boards that I was going to use that were exposed and pressure washed them all first. So like I could have just got the boards out of the stack and come up here and done that, but instead I get the boards, I look at them, I hem and haw about it for a while, and then I have to go all the way over to the house and get the pressure washer out and get it all set up, find hoses, drag it around, pressure wash them off, get distracted, go inside, get snacks, and then you're back out here 2 hours later when you could have had them nailed up in 10 minutes. But I'm not building this for somebody, so I don't I'd prefer it, snap my fingers and the whole thing be done how I want it, but that's just not a reality. So I know I'll be pleased in the end once I'll have done this how I want. So that's why I'm being particular. With that said, when you're working on things like this, you really have to determine what are things that actually really make a difference. There's so many things that as you go further into the project, this like extra level of craftsmanship for visual sake sometimes disappears behind stuff. So you have to be, careful not to go too far when it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about the actual, how well the building is crafted, structurally speaking, but, you just have to know, apply it appropriately, that type of thinking. meaning that like you won't be able to see any of these ceiling joists once they're done. So there's no reason to be so concerned outside of their the structuralness of them. So where I'm careful is things like, as I'm putting these in place and filling in with this blocking, I'm putting a level on the end of each one of these rafter tails and tweaking them to where they're perfectly plumb. And then when I was putting, so you can see the mark right there, that pencil mark right there, lined up with the edge of this little kind of fake rafter tail that comes off this stud, I was hanging my plumb bob string on the side face of this. Then I'd make a mark here, and then I'd push this rafter tail to where it's dead on. And that's to where when you're standing over there admiring your barn, is a perfectly straight line from here to there. Now that's normal. I say it, that's like somebody's like, wow, he really think of everything. I mean, that's just a normal thing to do, but taking the time to make sure that that actually is in the right spot. Now, it can be off a little bit and you're not going to notice it. You really have to have a keen eye to notice one and be standing perfectly in front of it, because as soon as you're looking at something from an angle, you're not going to be able to notice that. But what you will notice is sort of consistency. They're all consistently spaced apart, then twisted and tweaked to where they're dead plumb. And in the end, it'll just have such a neater appearance than if each one was slightly spaced apart further and they were twisted a little bit. That's still a natural material, so things aren't going to be perfect. But when you make that effort to just do a consistent good job throughout a whole project, it does show in the end. And when you're driving through neighborhoods, you can notice that. That's why in a lot of houses you don't see the rafter tails, because that's a lot of work. They just box it in and with soffits, fascia boards and soffits. But when you have exposed rafter tails like this, you know, it's an extra step to do it all nicely, have that good plumb cut. Or in some houses that do decorative cuts on the end of the rafter tails. I think a plumb cut looks really nice, and anything else on something like this would be a bit excessive. Now in some cases they would do something like have a curved cut like that. That has a function in my mind because it makes this a little less vulnerable to water hitting it. But I'm going to go along and probably treat each one of these rafter tails with some sort of preservative at some point. And I'm already basically halfway through my life, so this thing will be standing long beyond me. Somebody else will be using it for who knows what. Eventually it'll get torn down by some yuppie that builds a house right here way off in the future, once my offsprings probably sell this place for a fortune. All right. Hope that's not too depressing to end the video on. Next up, getting the roof moving forward. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.